First, I'm on front line, holding down camp, still mad. She heard my cousin.
One of the old heads from the block.
Just came home, I took 195 back in Yardsville, stuck
With a 3 to 5 if you don't act up.
Now he realize if you don't stay wise,
but in this game you fuck to my baby girl.
Give me the word on what she heard. One of the grimy snitching diamond, a stoop pigeon. I talked to him.
He said he didn't. My man said he did. In fact, he's sure because he just came home off a bid. Now tell me, what's up, SG Trilogy?
My man down, AC, what's up, brother? What's up, brother? Look, somebody looks ready.
Ready? Yep. Oh, I saw what you did in that little text message. I wasn't taking that bait. You at the same time you saying you're not taking shots. I saw your little preamble to the message about somebody signing a big old contract today. I saw that. And you're not gonna mess up my Wednesday. You're not gonna do that. That's what you're not gonna do.
Did you see any lies in the text?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, and I wasn't about to look into it right now. So, but why you wait for him to sign the contract to say that, though? Why you wait?
Because that's when he was relevant at that moment.
What do you mean? You knew the contract was coming. It's been relevant. Why are you doing it? See, I'm not doing this with you. And historically, I've said those words on this podcast, and then we've turned left. That's not going to happen tonight. I could just say I'm not doing this with you, and we'll be fine. Because that's brotherhood, right?
There it is. That's brotherhood. That's mature. That's maturity right there.
We're not talking about anyone or anything that comes out on October 31st, wearing sheets or any of that. It's like all good. It's all good,
man.
It's all good. We rolling.
Yes.
We rolling. All right. So what is this? This is episode 117 of the Collective Podcast. I am AC from LA. Yeah, welcome. You I think you're sticking around, huh?
Come on now, dog. I told you. Once we're in the mix, once we're in the trenches, you know what it is, brother.
I guess you're sticking around, so
yeah,
we gotta keep it.
We gotta keep it. We gotta keep moving in the right direction, brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, welcome. I definitely appreciate everybody coming through to the Collective Podcast tonight, whether you're watching on Facebook Live or LinkedIn or YouTube or even on Twitch, or you're listening back on Spotify Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcast. I can't remember the fifth one, but there's a fifth DSP that it goes to. Or you're watching back. Hey, welcome, and thank you for coming through. We appreciate that, as always, right? So, how was your week, man? What's going on?
Man, the week, it's midweek, and we are pushing one day closer to Friday, which is always good, man. Seems like the weekends come and they roll by so quick, and before you know it, you're in September, and it seems like the summer had just started, and now the year is getting away from us. Before you know it, it'll be December, man. So I'm trying to slow things down, but time waits for no one. So the week is going good thus far. Productive week. Man, just holding down the home front, making sure my guys are doing what they need to do, and in essence, doing what I need to do. What about yourself, brother?
Well, thank you. This is my week back with Kayla. So, we're definitely rolling along there. It's always great to have her back. I always miss her when it's not my week. And so, I'm always glad when she's back. So, it's only day 3. And so it's a little different, that we're doing this on Wednesday. So, it hasn't been an entire week, but I am getting used to it. She's doing really, really well in school, and that, always makes me obviously ecstatic, and things are going well with me. Like I got all of our back, as you know, I got all of our back episodes uploaded to the DSPs. So if anybody wants to go ahead and listen back to any of the episodes, like they are all there, like all all 100. Okay, there are 3 missing, but outside of those 3, there are 113 of 116 episodes there, and even some bonus content. So what do you know about that? Even some bonus content. So yeah, it's a really good situation. The week has been going well, and it's going to go well. And you know, I'm gonna fly out soon and go back and do some more football. So yeah, I'm feeling great about the podcast partnership with you. Um, got everything done on my business launch, so I can literally launch tomorrow if I choose to. And I haven't decided if I'm actually going to do that tomorrow. But yeah, man, great week, and things are rolling along for sure.
That's tough, brother. That's tough. Well, congratulations. Proud of you, man. I'm proud of you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the support and the connection and all of that. So hey, if you want to, no, this is your favorite part. One of your favorite parts. You go ahead. You tell them. You tell them what's up on the contact us. Especially now
Uh,
that certain things got a little shorter, you gonna say them now.
exactly. So, we always encourage you to stay in touch with us, and there are quite a few ways that you can stay in touch with us. So you can go to our official website at thecollectivepodcastofficial.com. On YouTube, we're TC Pod Official. Facebook, TC Pod Official. Twitter, or the app formerly known as Twitter, now known as X, TC Pod Official. On Instagram, also TC Pod Official. And our individual accounts, he's AC from LA on Instagram, and I'm SG Trilogy on Instagram.
Hey.
There we
And
go.
as you know, we were established in 2020, and if you don't know, now you know.
Now you know.
Now you know. So all
Yes.
right, well we're gonna go ahead and continue with our theme and share some more. We're gonna share our topics for tonight.
We got a lot to be excited about, man. It's football season is upon us.
Football season is upon us. It is.
Yes.
So that means that we would. Does that mean we would talk about NFL Week 1 potentially?
Oh yeah, we definitely gonna get on some NFL Week 1, brother. Definitely.
Well, I'm down with that. I mean, I know
Yeah.
who we play. I know you know who you play, and I know we
Yep.
know which game kicks it off. So let's get on into the NFL.
All right. Well, as we kick off NFL, and with it being Wednesday, kind of like way back Wednesday, I decided to take things way back. So as you can see, my attire. Shout out to Marcus Allen.
Is that Marcus
This,
Allen?
this is Marcus Allen, man. That's from January 22nd of 1984, back in the day when the Raiders just beat that football club from Washington 38-9. So it was just reflecting, putting that positive juju on this season.
Mm-hmm.
And, one thing that I always wish for when football season is starting, wish that everyone will remain healthy and that we have some good competitive football so that we can have some good competitive banter. So let's do it, man. And I see you're supporting a certain team over there. So let's speak about it. Let's speak about it.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a certain team. I mean, we know how I roll, and I don't waver. Like you can make all the jokes you want about baseball, and that was really mostly Don from Atlanta that makes the jokes about
I thought
baseball.
actually Don's from an undisclosed location.
Right,
Last I
he's
remember.
not from Atlanta. That's why I call him Don from Atlanta. Like that's why he's Don from Atlanta because he's definitely not from there. Um, there is a link. There is a link to Atlanta, but he's definitely not Don from Atlanta. So that is why it is so funny. So yeah, so I've never wavered when it's come to football. Like I've had one squad my entire life. And the funny thing about that is I became a I was raised a 49er fan by my dad. And basically I came out the womb and he was like Lakers and 49ers. and then do what you want in baseball. Or maybe he tried to encourage me to be a Dodger fan. I think maybe it was, but what I do remember about my childhood is Dusty Baker being in an A's uniform and me being confused. And my dad said something like, well, the Dodgers let him go or let him get away. Whatever it was, I felt like I was at war with the Dodgers at that point. Because how do you let Dusty Baker go? Like, are you kidding me? How you let Toothpick go? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? So then I was like a free agent. And so then I was really a fan of players. Doc Gooden, Darryl Strawberry, Keith Hernandez, Gary Carter, like that whole bunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was a fan of the A's, Dave Stewart, Dennis Eckersley. Like I was with those squads, and it wasn't like, okay, well, yeah, they did each win a World Series, but it wasn't about that. It was about like, I'm a fan of these players, and so this is who I'm rocking with. So I even had a starter Mets duffel bag and a starter A's duffel bag. I had both of those. I had a job. Had a job way before I was supposed to have a job. So anyway, that was baseball though, but always the 49ers. So my dad, who was raised a Rams fan, but went to the 49ers when the Rams left the Coliseum, went back to the Rams when the Rams came back to the Coliseum. And he invited me to become a Rams fan with him. He was like, come back to the Rams with me. And I laughed at him. And I continued to laugh at him. And I said, what do you mean come back? I've never been a Rams fan. They went from being mostly irrelevant most of my life to me, them finally becoming relevant and me not liking them, but I'm not going to be a fan of them. Like, I'm not leaving my team just because your team came home. So, and I said, and I need you to denounce all five, which wasn't fair because I didn't denounce the Red Sox championships from the 23 years that I was a fan. So, but I was like, yeah, don't ever come back though. We don't want you. So you stay with those Rams, even if they move to Milwaukee. So, yeah. So 49ers.
There it is. Niners it is.
And we play the Steelers coming up.
Yeah, y'all play the Steelers, but let's reel things back, Who's gonna start the season off, man? We're gonna have the Lions against the Chiefs.
Okay, there it is.
Lions at Chiefs. So, I'm not sure how excited the Lions are to be playing the Chiefs out the gate. You would imagine that, or you would think, all right, hands down, the Chiefs should dominate, but we shall see.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Should the Chiefs dominate? And so I want to get in the mind of, what is his name? Dan Campbell? I want to get in the mind of Dan Campbell real quick, and Aaron Glenn and cast like that. Like, okay, this could be our toughest matchup, right? At least of the teams that we only play once, like not, outside of the division. Let's knock it out. If we win, great. We're on top of the world. If we lose, then we can start a winning streak after week 1. So we don't have to have a letdown after some wins. And I don't think the Chiefs will dominate. Yes, I'm sure the Chiefs are favored and they should win. But that, your boy came on late in Detroit, and the defense was solid throughout. And so, they hang their hats on that defense, kind of like the Jets were doing before Aaron Rodgers showed up. And then now it's like that great old defense with Aaron Rodgers and what's the cat's name from Dalvin Cook, with Aaron Rodgers and Dalvin Cook. So, but that's a different squad. So I don't think it'll be a blowout. The Chiefs should win, but I think the Lions might surprise some people tomorrow.
Yeah, the Lions have everything to gain. It's like no one's expecting them to win the game. So,
yeah.
If the Chiefs are looking beyond the Lions, never know what can happen.
And and here's the thing. I don't feel like the Chiefs ever look past anyone.
Right.
I feel like you guys play in such a tough division, the AFC West, that sometimes teams in the AFC West that shouldn't beat them do beat them, but that's just because that's the AFC West. But I don't feel like they overlook competition. I feel like Detroit's got a shot, but I'm not saying here that Detroit will win. Let me be clear. Like I did say that Colorado would beat TCU. I'm not saying Detroit will win. I'm just saying they can win. So
Yep.
Now, what about the Las Vegas Raiders? I had to say it slowly because off the tongue rolls Las Vegas Aces. It really does roll. So I had to say it slowly. Las Vegas Raiders.
This is what I'll say.
Okay.
As an Oakland LA, Las Vegas fan because I've been a fan of them through every move. There's still a great deal of uncertainty because when you think about your quarterback, our quarterback looks great in a uniform, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Is he starting week 1?
Yeah, that's what I've heard that he's supposed to start week
So
one. So
then
we'll
why are
see.
you sulking? Like, he's one of my favorite guys.
Well, he's only one of your favorite guys because he came from your favorite team. Duh, Captain Obvious.
He performed.
So
No, he
yeah,
performed. I don't like everybody that came through there. Let's be clear. He
yes,
performed in that
yeah.
uniform that he looked good in.
We'll see, man. It's game one, new team, new scheme. So we'll see. I like that, new team, new scheme. So we'll see what happens, what he can put together, and yeah, there we go.
So, do we want to speak all about the rude head coach of the Denver Broncos that was really mean to the former coach of the Denver Broncos and
I
said it had been run like a high school team and there was like nothing in place? He was
see naturally.
really mean.
Look, I love hearing all of that. Like when I hear that dysfunction, dysfunction with the Broncos, I'm just like, get the popcorn ready. Yes, let's
Okay.
make that the distraction. Yeah,
So that is, yeah. So interestingly enough, I thought I was going to be flying out on that day when that game is happening, but this is a week I'm flying into Albuquerque, so I actually won't even be
okay,
in Denver. So I'll be back in Denver next week, but that won't be for the Raiders and Broncos. So
right.
yeah. All right,
What
cool.
other game? What other games are you looking forward to seeing in week one?
Well, I mean, you already know. I'm looking forward to seeing the Bills and the Jets. So,
Yeah,
Robert Saleh obviously came from the 49ers. He was the defensive coordinator 2 seasons ago. And it's a trend. You become the 49ers defensive coordinator and then you become a head coach in the
head
NFL.
coach. Yep.
Especially you're a defensive coordinator of the 49ers and you're of color, you get your shot. Boom. Happened twice. It's probably going to happen a third time. So, that being said, um, I want to see that matchup because I'm a fan of Robert Saleh. And then I've gotten to like some of the kids that, made the team and all that because we watched Hard Knocks. And I don't like the Bills. I think the Bills are a really good story. But when you try to force Caitlin Clark, Josh Allen down my throat, I have a problem with it. So it's Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, Caitlin Clark, Josh Allen, and the one that I didn't name, the two that I didn't name actually won some championships, and that would be Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird. So I'm fine with them, right? They rocked. They delivered on all of the hype. Brianna Stewart delivered on the hype, but when it comes to football, y'all just really try to make me believe these things, and they're not necessarily true. So I want to see that matchup. It's also interesting that the Jets have predicted that they're going to play the 49ers in the Super Bowl. And their little psychic guy predicted it too. And now he obviously predicted wrong, saying that they would beat the 49ers, but that's an interesting situation. Outside
Lofty
of that,
expect Look,
go ahead.
lofty expectations on paper. The Jets look great, but we shall see. Because on both sides of the ball, they look great right now.
Right.
So let's see. Once the rubber hits the road, let's see exactly what it is.
I just wonder about the scheduling. Like, how do the Super Bowl champs? They did win, right? Yeah, the Super Bowl champs open up
Yeah,
on the road
on the road.
at
Yeah,
in like in a normal game. Just
yeah,
maybe they have like a big Monday night matchup coming up. I don't know. It's weird. Wait,
yeah.
the Eagles did win, right?
No, the Eagles didn't win the Super Bowl. They lost the
Oh, the
Super
Chiefs
Bowl
won.
to the Chiefs.
See,
Yeah,
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. See, so now I get it. That makes
yeah,
more sense. The Chiefs do
yep,
have that matinee game. Okay, so
yeah.
that makes sense.
They do.
Um,
Yeah,
oh, we'll get it back for the NFC this year. That's cool.
yeah, and
All
and
right.
definitely conference rivalry. Cowboys Giants. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. You know, the NFC East often is like that Jekyll and Hyde conference where there's that one team that does exceptionally well and everyone else looks like a dud. So let's see if things change there. And let's see, the Cowboys are always thinking that they're going to win the Super Bowl. So let's see exactly what this experiment looks like. This Zekeless experiment, what it looks like.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I felt like they had some good looks in training camp. I worked a couple training camp practices. But we'll see what happens. But speaking of those matchups, you have the Packers and Bears. When you talk about um, conference
Old school
rivals,
rivalry. Yeah.
so I mean, league rivals. No, conference rivals. Yeah, so you have that, and also have it with the Bucks and Vikings. So it is interesting also to see the debut of D'Amico Ryans,
Hmm.
who open up at Baltimore. So, what does Baltimore look like now, with Lamar Jackson under contract? Like, he played hard no matter what, right? Now he's got a contract, and let's see what happens. Like, I'm looking forward to some football, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll see how it goes. I need to hurry up and get my Sunday ticket. It's in a new place now, so I got to get
Yeah.
that
Yes,
tomorrow.
it is. New and improved.
Are you affiliated with that?
No, 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 not at
Oh,
all. Yeah, yeah, not at all.
so what
Former
is?
former life, yes, but no.
Oh, yeah, at the network. Yeah, it
Yeah,
will. It will probably be improved, but we'll see. See how it goes.
yeah, yeah.
Anything else before we get rid of the league?
Oh man, I think we're good. Week one, a lot of good games on deck, and buckle up. The season is always interesting. We expect certain outcomes every season, and lo and behold, they change right before our eyes. So, best of the best to everyone. Hopefully, you have your fantasy football squads already stacked. Your draft should have already concluded, and you should be ready to rock. So let's go.
Yeah. So I know that he's talking to all of you guys because I'm not allowed to play fantasy anything, um, based on the things that I do for fun, uh, with college football and the NFL. So I can't. But yeah, you guys enjoy all of that. Have fun with that. I'll just watch.
There you
I'll
go.
just watch, my friend. All right. So moving on to the W. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. My god, brother Ace Hood, want to talk to y'all.
Loyalty ain't just when it's convenient. Like loyalty ain't when it's convenient. That's why I said what I said. People scream loyalty and loyalty and loyalty, but if he ain't give you that bag, he ain't create that opportunity, would you still be loyal to him? You probably wouldn't. You know what I mean? But it's convenient for you at that time to do so, so you gonna play your part and play the position. I'm just looking to connect with motherfuckers that's creative and that just want to build some shit not only for themselves but want to build it together, like build this thing that's incredible because it all starts from here.
Build it
You know, I
together.
look at Dre and all of the people who incredible who done it before in the past. Like it started from ideas and somebody believing, a few people believing to say, all right, we're gonna do this, all right, we're gonna do this, all right, we're gonna do this.
All right, we're gonna do this. All right, we're gonna do this. All right, we're gonna do this. Do this. So the W.
W man, let's go.
Let's go. Let me pull it. Let me pull it. Let me pull it. Up, up and away. All right. So Sam likes. It's not really parody, but he likes battles where I would just prefer domination. So
Yes.
Sam likes the idea that the New York Liberty are breathing down the necks of the Las Vegas Aces right now. And not only that, but they are in a situation where, even though the Las Vegas Aces control their own destiny as it pertains to home court advantage and have the entire season, they and have the best record in the WNBA right now. For the third week in a row, they are still the number two in the power rankings for the W. Now this is CBS Sports power rankings, but it's across the board that the Liberty are ranked one in the power rankings and the Aces are two. And I think that it would be hilarious. Well, it will be hilarious when the Aces get the number one seed and they're still ranked number two behind the Liberty. But it's just we in the media. This we come up with stuff. So there you go. But Sam, do you have any perspective on this other than this is exciting for you?
Come on now. I said last week, as we come down to that final stretch, why not have some close basketball, man, where you can really get in the trenches and battle it out? What better to see? And unbeknownst to me, I thought you would agree because you're a sports fan, but you just want to see the Aces just in a landslide. You want to see the Aces dominate everyone. But so I'm happy to see that it's close and it's coming down to the stretch. And that's what it's all about, man. Competitive games. That's what it's all about.
That's a fact. And and I'm joking. I do love, when people can overcome adversity. Like I don't wish adversity on people, but if they're facing it and they can overcome it, that's what's up. So here are your power rankings: New York Liberty 1, Vegas 2, Connecticut Sun 3, and that hasn't changed. Dallas Wings are 4, and Minnesota's 5. The Sparks are 6, and they've been 6 for a couple weeks in a row. And then, as you can see, I've got the second slide here. So the Mystics are now 7. They dropped. Atlanta Dream are 8. Chicago Sky, Indiana Fever, Seattle Storm, and Phoenix Mercury. So, yeah. So right now, let me see if I can remember how this thing works. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 versus 8. Yeah, they do this really interesting thing with the playoffs. I think it's like 5 versus 8 and 6 versus 7 in the first round. And then the winners of those two will play the 3 and the 4. And then the winners of those two will then play the 1 and the 2 in the what's essentially the semifinals. They don't call it conference finals because they just have one big league, but it would be the semifinals. So yeah, adversity, right? The Aces lost some games late, and so people stopped believing, and so we could see that they'll still do what they need to do. What's up, Jay? Thanks for checking in. Yep, WNBA playoffs right around the corner. Cheryl checking in. Not in Atlanta, probably checking in from LA.
Well, oh, you get to just call her Cheryl now?
No, I
Whoa.
said no. I said aunt.
I didn't hear that part. Just
Well,
making sure.
I'm not gonna say it again, but I said it. You could run it back later
Put
when
some
you
respect on. You better
when
put some respect on that
when
name.
you guys listen back to the family room. I definitely said it. So yeah, don't try to start stuff. Um, yeah. So it's
So
funny.
what's
Oh, go ahead.
no, you go ahead, bro.
Well, I was just gonna say that it's interesting how things are changing in the WNBA with with the seedings. Like nothing's changing with 1, 2, 3, but there is movement in the other places. So that's all I was saying. Um, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the perplexities of their playoff system is interesting.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's interesting.
but see, this is what you control. What you can control, right?
Yeah,
So if you win out Las Vegas, you don't have to worry about a tiebreaker.
there you go.
Man, and that's
Yeah,
all. That's all it is. All right. So here's what we got. We have 6 teams that have clinched playoff spots, and 3 teams still vying for the final 2: Atlanta, Chicago, and the Sparks. They're battling it out for the final 2. Atlanta controls its own destiny because they're up 2 games in the loss column,
and actually 7 have clinched playoff spots. The Mystics clinched also.
which is the 6th team.
No, you have Aces, Liberty, Sun, Wings, Lynx,
Mystic.
Dream, and Mystic.
The
Yeah,
Dream clinched.
Aces, Liberty,
Dream clinched.
Sun, Wings, Lynx,
When did the
Dream,
Dream clinch
Mystic.
today?
Yeah, it
Did
would
they
have had to
today?
been today. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, they clinched.
So
So
what's
it's
their record?
7, 18 and 20. They have the
Okay,
same
so
record as the Mystic.
they played today. Okay, so
Yeah.
this morning they were 17 and 20. So okay,
Okay.
so there you go. I didn't whisper. I didn't whisper it, and you know what? We're not about to do this. I said it clearly. I enunciated, and I'm at the quota. So boom. All right, we're moving on from the WNBA. Yes, thank you. ATL clinched today, and I guess it was probably like a couple hours ago. It's probably within the last couple hours. Now, who did they beat? That's a good question, right? Because did they knock someone out of contention?
Let's
Who
see.
did they play?
Who did they play?
Because I didn't have the matchups on here.
That's a good question. Let's see. Hold on. Atlanta just played. I don't know. This thing is moving slow. Let's go. All right. Keep going while I look that up.
Okay, and I stand corrected. They did move to the normal playoff system, and I guess I just missed that or I forgot. So it is just the regular seedings: 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, and 4 versus 5. They used to have these like you had 2 rounds of buys before in the playoffs. So okay, so the Seattle Storm were already. Thank you, Jay. The Storm were
Sure.
already eliminated, so that didn't do anything. So now you have Chicago and Los Angeles battling for that final spot, and I'm pretty sure I think the Sparks had a tougher final 2 games, and I don't know what they are. I knew it before, but now I forgot. So moving on. But I hope the Spark. Well, no, if the Sparks get it, they have to play the Aces. I'm gonna stay out of it. Because you want your home team to make the playoffs, but then
Yes.
anybody that steps in the Aces way needs to get pummeled. So, do you really want that for the homies? Not really. Neck is hurt. Neck is injured. Like it's a tough season.
Yeah.
It's Destiny wasn't in their plans. It's a lot, man. All right, moving on to Major League Baseball. The Dodgers hosted the Braves. They were down 4 games in the standings. A 4-game series. They had a chance to either pull even or be down 8. Luckily, they won one of those games after losing the first 3. So they left being down by 6 games when they had been down 7 the day before. So they got a game back, and then they lost.
They lost
They lost,
today.
they lost again.
Yeah, they lost again, man.
Okay,
They
so
lost. They lost again.
this is tough. Oh, they got smashed. Okay,
Yeah, they did.
so clearly it's not August anymore. They have 1 win in September. So if you're doing that math, they're 1-5 in September.
Yeah.
So hence power rankings, they've dropped down to 3. Even though they had a better record than Baltimore towards the end of August and beginning of September, they were like half a game over them. They have this streak now where they're vulnerable, so they moved Baltimore back up. So you got Atlanta, Baltimore, the Dodgers, Tampa Bay, and Seattle. When we look at the power rankings, I'm not worried about it. It's one of those things where the Dodgers just got caught slipping at home, and we know that the Dodgers won 111 games last year and got caught slipping, so they can catch Atlanta slipping, and somebody else can catch Atlanta slipping. So it that 1 seed is not you might want to be the 2 seed as opposed to being the 1 seed, because at least as the 2 seed you'll probably face that 3rd division winner, which was like the Brewers or whatever, as opposed to facing somebody else from the National League West or something like that. So it's one of those things, but we'll see what happens. There's a lot of baseball left to play, but leaving that series down 6, it was kind of, at least in my mind, I didn't expect it. I no longer expected them to catch Atlanta. So it was just like, and they had locked in at number 2. So it's just one of those things where like play your games every day and just be as good as you can be. Yeah, because 1-5 is ugly.
Exactly. It's crazy, man. Watching the Dodgers in August, it was just like so exciting, and the pace that they were moving at. was just amazing. So now it's like, okay, by no means do I want to be the downer to say they're doomed. But yeah, August kind of had us spoiled somewhat because I was hoping that would roll into September and we'd continue to dominate. But we shall see.
And listen, you're playing against two high quality teams. You're playing against the best team in baseball in Atlanta, and then you're playing against um, a contender in Miami. So it's a tough stretch. So that's actually encouraging. It would be more encouraging if they were dominating these teams. But it's like, okay, you had this September to remember, this August to remember. So you can have a tough start in the beginning of September and then still be okay. So
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. Not worried about it. So yeah, I don't know about that second one though, man. I don't know if that's really a big upset when you got two top 10 teams. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
NCAA football. Let's get to it. Let's
Whew.
get.
Man, week one of NCAA football. Out the gate, it seemed like a heavyweight bout. And when I say that, I'm talking Colorado Buffaloes arriving in Fort Worth, the unranked Colorado Buffaloes, uh, who really masterfully were in the transfer portal and added 80 plus new members to their roster, which is nothing short of amazing. And I think as a result of their success with acquiring players from the portal, I'm sure there are going to be some developments in which things change in terms of the way that you can acquire players in the portal. But that's another show, another day. But to see Colorado Buffalo come into Fort Worth to face up against the Big 12 champion uh, TCU Horned Frogs, who most recently, prior to past Saturday, played in the national championship game against Georgia, didn't fare in their favor. But I think coming in as the number 17th ranked team in the nation, Horned Frog fans and a lot of analysts across the board thought that the Horned Frogs would fare better than what they did. And man, we've seen it everywhere. We've seen it on every sports show, every news show. The Coach Prime, that Coach Prime effect. Fox really capitalized on that game in terms of the pregame activities, pregame festivities, and everything leading up to the game. And it had such a electric feeling to it, especially for a game of with an unranked team versus a ranked team. And man, that game was rock'em sock'em. Now defense was optional, but to see offensively, Shador Sanders, man, he balled out 38 for 47 for 510 yards, breaking the school record. And it was funny because a lot of the naysayers said, well, Shador coming from an HBCU, i.e. Jackson State, that he would not be a start. Why is he a starting Division One Power Five quarterback? Well, it looks like he showed everyone why he is a Division One Power Five quarterback starting, and he balled out. And then the other kid, Travis Hunter, my gosh, to start playing on both sides of the ball, had over 100 yards receiving and a pick, just missed his second pick. Man, that game was amazing. Man, how'd you like it?
So I was actually playing. I had my own game during that game,
Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually get a chance to see it live. But when I watched it back, it was it was very entertaining. It was great, definitely great to watch. Kayla, stop, because if you pull the light out, we're gonna have a problem. Um, so yeah, definitely entertaining. I felt like they were definitely going to win, and they did. So that was cool. And then when things like that happen, then you get timeless situations like these interviews. So I'm gonna share a little bit of this real quick. Coach Deion Sanders talking to some of the naysayers, as it were. Oh, and then they dropped the ad on me again. I just bypassed the ad. Oh, dirty, dirty, dirty.
Yes. Don't you just love it?
I do not. Road to happiness begins in a new show. This Chevrolet.
Wonderful game, wonderful beginning, intriguing, passionate, purposeful. It was all of that. We had some guys that singled themselves out with their playing and their playing ability. A lot of guys you doubted. One of them from HBCU. I think he had 510 yards passing in a Power 5 football game. And he happened to be my son. And I'm proud of him tremendously. Defensively, we had some letdowns, but the guys came and made the plays when they needed. I think we broke a record. Everything we do seems like a record. 4 receivers with 100 yards. We didn't run the ball greatly, but we threw the heck out of the football. Savion, another back, played a great game. All the guys contributed, Dylan as well as Hankerson. The line did their thing, fought their butts off. We got to fix some things on defense, especially special teams, because I think we gave up 3 or 4 turnovers. We gave up the kickoff. We had a fumble. A couple other things happened in the first half. But hats off to the opposing team. They're coached greatly. I believe their head coach, I love him to life, what he did, turning the program around at SMU as well as here last year. Good man. I had a moment with him in the middle of the field when one of the guys were injured, just to let him know how much I appreciate him, how much I respect him for what he's accomplished. And I really look up to him. He's a good man, and his team was well coached today.
All right. I think that even that probably made some people mad. You know, he's cool, calm, collected, not brash, not in your face. I mean, some of it will be like, now what? Like, what happened? But like, really, it's like, okay, let me just talk through what happened in this game and where does that leave us? You know, it's just it's one of those things. So, um, I didn't like that dude at Florida State. I didn't like that dude in Dallas. I loved him as a 49er. Like, that's what's up. I actually liked him in Atlanta too, but I really like him as a coach. I really like him as a coach. And one of the things that Cobbs was talking about on the AC Sports Live on last night actually was the fact that he is more of a facilitator than a lot of coaches. A lot of coaches who like micromanage everything and then they don't wind up being as successful. Like, go, you utilize your resources, right? Have really great people in all of the right positions, and then be the delegator and see where that lands you. And so I think it's a really great start for Coach Sanders in the Pac-12, but also against a Big 12 team, because they'll be in the Big 12 next year. So it's a really interesting situation.
Yeah.
I'm happy for them.
A couple of key things stand out to me when it comes to him. So in not micromanaging his coaches, I think that really promotes accountability. Like, he's going to trust you to do your job, the job that you've been brought in there to do, and he's going to trust you to do it, which is important. And then I saw his pregame speech when he was speaking to his team, man, and he sows into his kids, man. Like, he really has the ability to connect with his kids.
Go in your room and close the door right now.
And so he really, he was able to take the attention away from him and really edify his kids and say, guys, we've done the work. This is our time. Right now is our time. Don't care what other people are saying, because we know it's our time. And really, even if not all the guys on the team believed it, enough of them believed it to achieve it. And that was what I found to be so just poignant, that a coach that's larger than life yes, he knows he's going to get credit for when they do win, just like they're going to vilify him when they lose because they're not going to go undefeated. Yes, they're going to have losses. They're going to experience loss and pain that's associated with losing. But the way that he is really sowing into and investing into his student athletes, man, that's what I commend him most for, man. And I think it's hard not to know. Am I a Colorado Buffaloes fan prior to his arrival? No. But it's hard not to root for them, at least for me, because I see the difference he's making in these kids' lives, which is so important.
Yeah, making a difference, making an impact. And I had so much fun with the people who were blasting him for leaving Jackson State. And it's like, this is the thing for me. Not everything that we as a people say makes sense. Like, I'm not just going to rock with you just because you're black, you know, especially when you're speaking on Black Matters and you're just dead wrong. But I'll give you a shot. Like, talk me through it. That's the whole thing for me. I'm what they say in Missouri. I'm from the show me state. You can't just tell me. You gotta show me, right? And I'm not from there, but I heard that enough times. Talk me through how you rationalize this. And if you can't come up with anything, then it's okay. But you should probably stop saying that then. Like, okay, it's fun to get all caught up in the hullabaloo and you want to repeat what other people are saying. But if you can't justify what you're saying, you probably shouldn't be saying it. That's just my thought. That's how I live my life. And I'm not saying that everybody else should do that, but it's important. And I love what he's doing. He brought a lot of people with him and he's opening doors for other people. And it's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting. And he's already won with being 1-0 because there were so many people that said he wouldn't win a game.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to win a Power 5 game because you've got all Power 5 opponents. Or you've got all FBS opponents. That some of them may actually be group of 5, but you've got all FBS opponents. So you're not supposed to win a game. You're an FCS coach. Really? Well, who said?
Right. And I think he fulfilled his purpose at Jackson State. Like, he put Jackson State on the map when they weren't on the map. They hadn't been on the map in a long time. We can go back to the days of Walter Payton and Jackie Slater. And for him to come in to change that program, to change the culture, to change the amount of exposure that HBCUs were receiving and continue to receive as a result of his work, man, you can't knock the man for wanting to grow, wanting to grow, have a larger footprint and have more exposure. It's similar to in our respective careers. If an opportunity for growth, an opportunity presents itself to grow and to really stretch yourself and to be rewarded for it, the majority of us are going to take that opportunity, take the jump. Should we be vilified for taking the jump and leaving our past team or past company? No. You do it respectfully, get on, thank the people that brought you in, keep it moving, no harm, no foul. So big ups to Coach Prime, man, and the Colorado Buffaloes. I know they have Nebraska up this week, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
All right, so another one that my guy wanted to talk about is the number 5 LSU Tigers, or as the locals like to call them, the Bayou Bengals, versus the number 8 Florida State Seminoles. Now, this is at the time. And I don't know why Seminoles is still being allowed as a mascot. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Thank you.
But we still have Atlanta Braves. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. Okay, that being said, Florida State upended LSU. Now, it's a top 10 matchup, and it's 5 versus 8. So I know we're calling it an upset, but they were, basically they were the same going in. But one of these teams was clearly better than the other. And this really goes back to an argument that Rod used to have a lot on just in life, but on the podcast, where he talked about SEC teams and how they'll be highly ranked off the top, and then they'll have a really bad loss, and they won't fall that far because they're an SEC team who was highly ranked when they started. Now, this was a dropping from 5 to 14, and they did play another top 10 team and lose. So I don't know. Maybe this is in line with it, but also maybe this is the beginning of the end for LSU. We don't know, but really interesting start to the season for both of them. So now Florida State is up to number 4, and people are talking about them being in the CFB playoff, and people are no longer expecting that from LSU. But what are your thoughts, Trilogy?
Man, I heard a lot of people saying LSU, and it's interesting when it comes to, as you mentioned, SEC play. The SEC by far, I'd say, okay, the closest next to it in terms of competition, the Big Ten. The SEC is one of those conferences, you lose one game, and that can be it for your season, losing one game. And so, it's one game, yes, but in the manner that they lost that game, how they were dominated, I'm wondering if this is an off year for them or if they will actually be able to dust off the cobwebs and come back. And it's ballsy for them because typically, the first game of the season, a lot of teams stack their schedule where it's their fluff game, where they can come out, beat the dust off a team that isn't as close to their skill set. But for them to come out and schedule Florida State first and foremost, I'm like, all right, in order to be the man, you have to beat the man. But I would like to see in terms of their next game up. Is this going to be their recovery game, or is this just that down year for LSU?
Well, even though my mom and her family are from New Orleans, just because of how certain things have happened at LSU, not so much Nick Saban. I don't have a problem with him, but I don't like Ed Orgeron or any of that kind of stuff. Like that whole run by what's the Bengals quarterback's name?
Burrow?
Well,
Joe Burrow?
Yeah, just that whole thing that just didn't sit well with me. So anyway, all right, that's what I got. So let me go back to this. Go ahead.
Okay, and real quick, LSU's next game won't be a real test for them because they're playing Grambling. So let's wait until they get back in conference play and they're playing someone that's an SEC caliber team. So I don't expect Grambling to rattle their cage too much.
Come on, Grambling State, let's go. All right. So, all right, let's go back to this because I said one thing, but now I'm not so sure. So the Sky and the Sparks each have a game that they should probably lose, and that's Chicago playing at Connecticut. They should probably lose that. And the Sparks playing the Liberty. But then Chicago also plays Minnesota, and they can win that, but should probably lose. But it's not a sure thing. And the Sparks should beat Seattle. So this is really interesting. The Sparks beat the Aces, so they can beat the Liberty, right? If everything aligns, they can do it. And they actually beat them in Las Vegas, so they can win in New York. And they owe New York one anyway because New York won the first game of the WNBA at the Forum. So they owe them one. The Sparks might eke this eight seed out. So I just wanted to go back to those matchups. The season ends Sunday. It's likely going to come down to that. Now, New York, like I said, they have to play the Sparks. And that's one of their games. And then their other game. So they should beat the Sparks. But that's not a guarantee. And then their other game is against... It's loading so slowly. Oh, how are they just going to put the playoffs on there? See, they're even saying... Oh, no, it doesn't say bye. They play the Sparks and they play Washington. Okay, they should win those two games. Yep. But guess who the Aces play? You guessed it, Phoenix.
Oh, Lord.
Shout out to Nikki Blue. Go Bruins, but they're doormats. So And I don't think the Aces are overlooking anyone, especially since New York has been trying to walk them down. So I feel like New York can definitely lose one of those two, if not both of them. We'll just see what happens. It's interesting because you got a battle for the number 1 seed, which is not really a battle, but then you definitely have a battle for the 8 seed, right? That's important. And then even with 6 and 7, with Atlanta and Washington, they're still battling. And actually Minnesota could drop under. This is cold game, man. It's still 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen with 4, 5, 6, 7. Woohoo!
Ooh,
Watch the
look,
final 2 games of the WNBA.
no, the crazy thing is, when I said I wanted it to be close competitive basketball, I didn't know that the Liberty would get that close to the Aces. Like, I like to stir the pot, and I like to get us going just so we can have something to really get into. I didn't know they were going to be on their heels like this. So this is exciting. This is exciting time.
Well, with all of that, I just want to be clear. A lot of people are saying, this is the Titanic, but over the last 10, the Liberty are 9-1 and the Aces are 7-3. So I can
Right.
tell you the 3 losses are, they lost to the Sparks, they lost to the Liberty, and they lost to the Liberty. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So just throwing that out there. Oh no, it was Liberty, Sparks, and did somebody else sneak one in? Oh, DC. The Mystics beat them.
Yeah. Right.
They,
Okay.
they snuck that in after they went to the White House. So they were
Yeah.
tired. That's all. I don't think my girl Shakira was even playing. But yeah, so exciting finish to the WNBA season. 4, 8 seeds still up for grabs. 4 through 7, the seedings are still up for grabs. So we'll see what's happening. Wow. Yeah. So this came across my timeline. Actually, yeah, it came across my timeline, but also Aisha Withers Mitchell was sharing it on her story. And so when I saw it, I sent it to Sam. I'll let you talk. I have a graphic, but I'll let you talk. So let me put it on.
Okay.
Sorry. Wait, where'd it go? Okay. I lost it. Okay, keep talking. Let me find it.
Okay. And which one is this? Just remind me. Is this the
Tragedy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, you know, I, this has been a tough.
You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll have it up.
This okay. This has been a tough couple of days. Um, Labor Day weekend, extended weekend. We quite often think about getting with our family and friends and food and fellowship and fun and things of that nature. And I wanted to take the time to dedicate tonight's podcast to the memories of 2 Morehouse great, phenomenal young men, junior students, one being Hugh Douglas, and the second being his roommate, Christian Files Jr. They're both juniors, business administration students, and great character young men. I know Hugh's father, and on Monday, both young men were not too far from Morehouse College in East Point, Georgia, and they were in a horrific car accident and lost their lives. And to see 2 young men that, as juniors, they accomplished so much in their lives and they already had made a difference. Like, you can see the graphic on the screen. Hugh Douglas was an alt finance fellow and a Goldman Sachs fellow. And this speaks to his character. The kid was a treasurer and CFO of Morehouse Business Association. And then Christian Files Jr., being a business administration marketing student, was the co-captain of Morehouse track and field team. And the school sent out this information on Monday, and I spoke with Hugh's father. Hugh Douglas Sr., and really just shared condolences. And a parent, this is a parent's worst nightmare, because with life, you don't anticipate or expect to have to bury your child before yourself. And so as these families grieve and work through these difficult times, I just want to really let the parents and families of both young men know, job well done, because you raised stellar young men. And it's unfortunate that their lives were ended in tragedy and ended so early because they were just beginning to live their lives. Please know that they did make a difference. I shared this information with my sons who were younger, and we were able to sit and reflect. And I used both of these young men, and just in terms of the character that these young men have. And my boys, for both of my sons who are 13 and 14, to say, these guys are great role models. For them to say that and see that on their own, I want their parents and their families to know, job well done. So here at the Collective Podcast, we just want to dedicate tonight's show to Hugh Douglas and Christian Files Jr.
Well stated. Amazingly put. All right. So on Cheryl, officially, we are still on Saturdays, but because I have football season and I'm flying out every Friday, and then I have game day on Saturday, we're temporarily moving to Wednesday evenings during college football season, and then we'll swing back. So, and I actually do have a couple of off weeks, so I'll talk to Sam about it. And during those off weeks, maybe we'll go back to Saturday for those weeks. We'll talk through it though. I don't want to. I'm not. It's not a unilateral decision. We got to talk about it. But for now, it's Wednesdays, and we're going to be consistent with 7 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Central. Okay, cool. Do you have anything to insert, my brother, or are you ready to close out? We got through the slate.
Yeah, we went through the slate, man. I think when people transition, and especially young people, it's so difficult. And so I just want to end tonight, and it echoes your sentiments, because it seems like when we close out, one of the things that you always speak and reflect upon is the importance of just loving your people, even if that means a text message. Hopefully you'll have an opportunity to see them, but if you can't, just a text message or a phone call, or some way to let your loved ones know that you love them and what they mean to you, because tomorrow isn't promised. So it's so important to spread love and to not allow misunderstandings, to not allow situations to get in the way of spreading love. So I just want to end with those words, man. Love is so important, and love truly transcends time. So love your people, man. Love your friends, love your family, and that's all I have, man.
All right. Well, thank you for that. And like he said, I always say it. Please let your loved ones know that you love them. Don't assume that anybody knows. Remind them that you love them. Reiterate that you love them. If you get a chance to touch them, hug them, kiss them, whatever it may be. And if you have the opportunity to maybe fix something, try. Just at least give it a try. Give it the old college try. And if you can't fix it, then at least you tried. But you don't want to walk around with regret. Like, what if? Nah. Like, just be like, okay, I did try, and then it's much easier to sleep. believe you me, it's easier to sleep when you know you definitely tried. And Cheryl always says, say your prayers. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, but we'll say it to you guys. Don't forget to say your prayers.
Yes, can't stress that enough.
Yeah, yeah. Don't forget to say your prayers. I think when I sent Kayla to her room, she slammed the door. So we're going to have to talk about that because I don't know where that came from. That's not a thing. So we're going to have.
Listen, she might be in there saying her prayers. Okay.
Well, the door is now open and she's coming back down the hall. So it's probably good that we're closing this down now. But yeah, so okay. This has been episode 117 of the Collective Podcast. Just to remind you guys, you can find us in various places, and I'm gonna let Sam tell you guys again where, because I'm gonna share it and then he'll talk through it.
Yeah. So we have a saying here. For a while, since we typically air on Saturdays, we'd always say Saturdays are always best when you kick things off with the Collective Podcast. But now we can even extend that to Wednesdays and say Wednesdays are always best when you join the Collective Podcast. You can connect with us on our official website at thecollectivepodcastofficial.com, on YouTube, Facebook, the app formerly known as Twitter, now X, and Instagram. We are TC Pod Official. You can find him on Instagram at AC from LA, and find me, yours truly, at SG Trilogy on Instagram. We look forward to connecting with you all. Believe it or not, it gives us so much energy when we see you all are on, watching and interacting and asking questions, and we really look forward to that. This is truly one of the highlights of our week, so we thank you guys for spending some time with us.
Absolutely. Thank you. Again, episode 117 of the Collective Podcast. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for listening. However you consumed us, thank you for consuming us. Please remember to like the podcast, comment on the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, and share the podcast. Thank you very much.
I see brothers in black brothers in patch down, plus everybody's high, too doped up the ass cry. Watching our whole town fall, witness the end. It's like we don't believe in God, cause we living in sin. I asked my homie on the block, why the strap me back? He wanted his pistol at the cop, called past the blast.